my next guest, who's back here on the program. His movie Pitch Perfect 2 is in theaters today. Skylar Astin back on the program. Good to see you, sir.
Good to see you.
Are you wearing your Jets green? Is that a Jets green sweater?
I'm wearing my New York Jets green. I'm excited about this season.
Okay.
Hopeful, and we'll probably be disappointed halfway through. We'll make a miserable playoff push by the end of the season, and we'll be back.
Oh, so you've got your usual sunny disposition about your Jets season.
Yeah, I'm very aware. I get the sports package, and then I regret it, and then I ask for my money back.
Oh gosh, the vicious cycle, the riptide the Jet fans are in right now. Are you of the Jet fandom that you're filled with glee with the Brady suspension?
That would be awesome if we could get the first round pick and the fourth round pick for 2017 that they have to give up if it would just go to us.
Interesting.
That's what I was disappointed with the NFL about.
That they should just
give everything to the Jets.
Don't just remove it. Just don't throw it away. It should be recyclable, right?
Or literally, like, you want to suspend Tom Brady for 4 games? Just give him to the Jets. But he has to play his heart out, though.
Well, it was funny. Somebody tweeted at us that or called in. I think it was Don from Cleveland, our fellow Don.
The sensei, Don from Cleveland.
He's called in saying that the penalty should be making Brady play for the Browns for a year.
That would be. I understand where he's coming from.
And that if he doesn't fare well, he's got to stay. That he's basically got to get himself relegated back to the
I'm
Patriots.
sure the Browns fans would love that.
I know.
Cleveland will just be soaring, but the Cavaliers and the Browns, it's going to turn that city around again.
Now, but in all seriousness, do you take glee out of this, or are you of the mindset that you want Brady there? You need to beat Brady. No.
My dad used to say things like that. We'd be in like Little League, and I would hear that like the pitcher got sick, and I'd be like, "That's awesome. We get to we don't have to be scared of that dude now." And he'd be like, "No, you should be able to beat the best in order to be the best." I'm like, "No, I will take it any way I could get it."
Really?
Especially with the
Ric
Jets.
Flair? Is that Ric Flair?
Woo! Yeah, Ric Flair. Yeah.
To be the best.
So to be the best, bro, you gotta beat the. Yeah, I guess I did steal that.
Is your real name Skylar Flair? Is that what we're finding out right
Flair,
now?
yeah. And you should have seen my hairdo before I cut it. I was just white, just beautiful, wind-blown hair.
Gosh, Skylar Astin here on the Rich Eisen Show. So this film is blowing up. I mean, when you were first involved in the first Pitch Perfect, did you have any idea what this could have turned into here?
I personally liked it, and I feel like I understood the tone of it, but I also have history with doing musicals, and at my college there was an a cappella team, and I thought it was just a perfect pocket of the world that would could eventually be successful, but I didn't know it would eventually be what it's become. And I think a part of it is because the movie it embraces what it is. It's in on the joke. Like we take a cappella very seriously, but in reality, it's a ridiculous thing to take seriously.
Well, unless you're really in the a cappella world.
Yeah, so we're embraced by those people, and we're also embraced for the irony of it, and the comedy of it, and the music of it all. People really, like the soundtrack.
And the Packers are in on this now.
The Green Bay Packers, I lobbied for the Jets, and they're like, no, they need a winning record.
I didn't know. I didn't know that's what they needed to have.
Yeah, I was going for Mangold in there. And,
Mangold. Who else would you have taken? Gino? Would you have taken Gino? See, hold on a minute. This is the true test of his fandom here, of his Jets fandom. Would you have taken Geno Smith if he says, if you were in charge?
Yeah.
Now, I know Elizabeth Banks and her husband, Max Handelman, were in charge.
But I'm really in charge.
Yes,
that's how I see it.
You're a star.
Yeah, man, come on.
Put down your foot. Would you have taken Geno Smith?
Maybe the first couple games I would have taken Geno Smith. Just like a real New York sports fan, just completely giving up on him.
You would have taken the Week 17, all hope is lost, but you really need to lose to get a better draft pick, Geno Smith. That's the Geno Smith you'd have taken.
Why not?
Because he's always great in that game.
Yeah, he is. And you're like, why couldn't you do this the whole season?
Right?
We can commiserate about the Jets.
What was it like having the Packers on the set? What was that like?
It was really fun. They approached it kind of like they were going out of the tunnel for a big game, which was very exciting. And
so they were really competitive about it?
No, I just think they were so pumped up about it.
Okay.
And they were very nervous at first. They're like, okay, so when we get it, as if there wouldn't be time to make it all work. It's almost as if they thought they had to do it once, kind of like a game. And I was like, wait until you see how painfully slow the filmmaking process is. You're gonna have so much time. By the end, they're like, so is this even on me, or do I need to be here for your eye line? And I'm like, oh, you guys are old pros at this point.
Suddenly, T.J. Lang is worried about continuity, is what you're saying.
Exactly. He's like, I itched my head with this hand, so I think we got to burn that take. Don't print that one. Yeah.
What about Clay? How was Clay Matthews?
Clay was awesome. He was. He had the most dialogue. You know, he's like the biggest star, obviously. He's Clay Matthews, and he got his signature. He was reluctant at first when they pulled the sleeves off to do his, but I think we were all like, you gotta do the dance.
Hold on a minute. If I'm not mistaken, Law Brockman backed me up here. When the Packers were here, the offensive lineman said it was Clay's idea to do it. Or, correct me if I'm wrong, it was suggested to him, and he did one of those like, oh,
that's what I think.
Right, I'll do it. Sure.
Yep. I think it's the self-deprecating move, but secretly he's like, oh yeah. Actually, that's what I was dreaming about the night before.
They said he was doing curls in the trailer before the scene.
They were doing a lot of pregame rituals, the Packers. I don't know exactly what that means, but they were friggin' pumped up. They were deflating balls. It was very exciting. No, I'm kidding. Not them, at least.
Oh, gosh. Pitch Perfect 2 is in studios, in theaters right now. It opens today at Skylar Astin on Twitter right now. So you are also a Met fan, I know. What do you think about their chances moving forward here after a great April?
Yeah.
And then sort of treading water since then.
I know there's gonna be a lot of months, and I don't think they're all going to be similar. I think our pitching's gonna look stellar some months, and then. I mean, I remember, I think it was like 8 years ago, you probably might remember, when the Mets were in first place for a great deal of the season. And then they had like a 7-game stretch where they just had to win one game. And they played the Marlins a lot, I know. And they lost out. And I remember watching the last game where I was like, I can't believe if we lose this game, we're not even gonna make it into the playoffs.
Right.
And I was spending so much time, I spent so much money on the MLB package, and I was watching it in my trailer at the time okay, now this is gonna make sense, 2007.
Okay.
So, and I was like trying to shake the freaking laptop to get the Wi-Fi to work, and they lost. And I think that was kind of when I was like, I'm not going to believe in a Mets team until they're in the postseason.
See, that's part of the reason why I enjoy chatting with you and having you on this show, Skylar. You're not only a diehard fan, but you and I share the same obvious acumen in internet technology that you would, to get the Wi-Fi to work, shake the computer.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, but are you still a bang the television set guy?
I'll
even
bang
though
a television.
it's now connected to a wall. You know,
I'll
there's
shake
no
a phone.
antenna. You know what I mean?
No, but I mean the good old days where you just, well, now it's weird because they're all like flat screens. It made a lot more sense to kind of give a tube television a smack.
Yeah,
now you're worried about knocking it off the.
Well, I know. Well, the LED, you can't have that. Can't have that.
Maybe now I'm a little bit more precious with the TVs, but I will shake the crap out of a laptop.
Were you the only UFC fan on the Pitch Perfect 2 set? Were you the only one?
I think me and Rebel were like
Rebel
huge.
Wilson?
No, I'm kidding. I think it's probably just me. Yeah.
So what do you make of the John Bones Jones
the controversy?
Well, he stripped of the
it's not
title,
really,
though, right? Yeah, right?
I think the UFC made the right move. All of this talk is like it's that like innocent until proven guilty kind of a thing.
Right.
But the evidence is kind of stacked against him in this way. There were files in the car. For people that don't know, he was involved in a hit and run with a pregnant woman who broke her arm.
All sorts of awfulness.
And the worst part about it is that he can kind of plea temporary insanity or something like that. He was under the influence. But the fact that he went back to the car to get money, that does not bode well for him in court.
I don't know if we'll ever see him again doing that. You know, I don't think we're going to ever see him again.
I think you might be right. And it's a shame because he's the pound-for-pound greatest, you know.
Right.
And they stripped him of the rankings and all that stuff.
What'd you make of the Pacquiao-Mayweather fight? Anything?
I bought it.
Okay.
And I think that a lot of, I can make the obvious joke of like, I want my $100 back. But the truth is, I knew exactly what I was getting into. I mean, I think that if you know anything about those two fighters, you're like, this is most likely what's going to happen. And now people have been asking me like, so what do you think they're going to, have a rematch?
Sure.
I think there's no need. If anything else would have happened, then it would have called for a rematch. But it went the way.
Come on, you know there's a rematch coming. they're already complaining and moaning and whatever.
And that whole torn rotator cuff thing.
Well, I mean, he comes off the plane in the Philippines 2 days ago, and he tells the crowd, I had myself winning the card 115, 113. I thought I won the fight by 2 points.
Every fighter thinks that they win.
But they're all going to start puffing their chests out and jabbering at each other.
Yeah.
And then 1 year from now, we'll all be putting $100 back down.
It's tough. I'm friends with a lot of UFC fighters, and it's rare that they ever go into a fight healthy at all.
Yep.
There's sometimes broken bones, torn ACLs that they just tape up. They're really the toughest human beings on the planet. My buddy Chris Weidman, just dropped that name, but he beat Lyoto Machida with a broken left hand. Like, how could you even do that?
Sure.
So I love Pacquiao. I've watched his documentaries. It's upsetting though. The amount of excuses that he's making for the injury.
It's good to have you here again.
It's
Please
great
come
to be
back.
here.
Please come back.
Anytime.
Please. I'd love that. Skylar Astin, at Skylar Astin on Twitter. Pitch Perfect 2 is in theaters right now. Go see it. Wife and I are going to see it first chance we get. We're excited.
The Rich Eisen Show, weekdays at noon Eastern. On Audience.